Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is Eisenherz and today I want to talk about something we are all guilty of. Making up our own rules when we were playing Magic as kids. Today, as cEDH players and adults, we obviously know most of the rules that are relevant to our format, and we make sure to play by them as well as possible. If we are in doubt, we Google for the answer or ask a judge on a community server. Hell, I'm even a judge myself. But I sure remember a time when me and my friends had absolutely no idea what we were doing. Basically making up our own rules all the time. Let's have a look at a few of those made-up rules. One of the funniest made-up rules I've ever heard of was that people would tutor up basic lands instead of creating mana. This probably stems from not distinguishing between mana and lands, which is something a lot of people still do. Just think about the effect this had on the game. Llanowar elves would tutor up a forest every turn. Dark Ritual will allow you to search for 3 swamps. With this kind of ramp and deck thinning, nothing could beat Boulder Citadel in cEDH. One of the most fundamental rules of Magic is that you can only play 1 land per turn. But that didn't make a lot of sense to us. Not only would our games be incredibly slow, but also tapped lands had no purpose. Who would ever want to play a tapped land? Well, we decided that you could play 1 basic land and 1 tapped land per turn. This gave tapped lands a purpose and also made our games somewhat faster, allowing us to drop Trained Orc or Wizardrix much faster. Vanilla 6/6 on turn 3 was the meta standard at my school. Good luck dealing with that. This is a made-up rule that I'm very guilty of myself. Back in the day, we had literally no idea what the stack was. We didn't even know that such a thing existed, because most cards were played at sorcery speed anyway. So how did we deal with counterspells when the concept of stack or priority was non-existing to us? You just had to be faster than your opponents. Whoever announced their game action faster would get the right of way. So I cast this 13/13 Crows and Skyscraper, my cousin casts a counterspell, but I just go, well, it's already in play, too late, pass the turn. Like he ever had a chance to react in the first place. We used to play like this at my school without anyone ever questioning the logic behind it. The only person to ever call me out on it was my cousin. Luckily, this only went on for a few weeks until one of the older kids at my school explained to us how the stack works. Great times though when Counterspell did basically nothing. So imagine you drop 2 lands per turn and also play basically no card draw spells in your deck. You will get Hellbent a lot, but instead of going into top deck mode hoping to draw into Rocks or Thorn Elemental, you would just redraw a full hand of 7 at the end of every turn. Of course, you could only do this if you were actually Hellbent, you know, to keep things balanced and fair. As you see, most of these rules allow us to have more fun and cast our spells, because our decks sucked, had no clear strategy, an absurd mana curve, no ramp and no form of interaction. Being able to drop more lands more as often as you want or redraw a full hand if you were Hellbent allowed us to actually get a game going instead of going draw land pass for the first 5 turns. But this final made-up rule I have for you guys is very different. It was purely to win the game, so totally in line with a cEDH mindset and my absolute favorite win con ever, Mindslaver. This is my absolute favorite made-up rule from back in the day. Right before I got started playing Type 2 tournaments at my local game store, I had this bomb Mindslaver deck with the Tron lands, 4 copies of Platinum Angel and 4 copies of Mindslaver. I would ramp into a Mindslaver, activate it to take control of my opponent, and then I would simply concede for that. Nobody ever questioned me doing so. I remember some other kids actually copying my deck list because it was such a force at my school. Also, whenever one of us would concede in their opponent's name, we would make this very dramatic hand gesture from the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, where we would press down on the deck with our open palm. This was a tier 1 deck for sure. Shortly after I played this deck, I started to hang out at my LGS a lot more and learn how to actually play MTG from the older players. I then started grinding local T2 tournaments, a lot of which I was actually able to win, but sadly not with my Mindslaver deck. And that's it. Do you remember any made-up rules from your early days of playing Magic? If so, drop them in the comments down below. Don't forget to also like the video, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to my channel. Hop over to my Discord server if you want to play some games with us, and of course with proper rules. And if you want to support this channel even more, you can find a link to my Patreon page down below. This is Eisenherz and auf Wiedersehen.